It was 119 degrees the day the boys showed up. Dust hung in the air like static. My vest was soaked through with sweat and fear. The kind of fear you never say out loud, because you're the sergeant, and you're supposed to look like you've seen it all before. We were stationed at Checkpoint 9, a sun-bleached strip of concrete wedged between a poppy field and a cratered road in southern Kandahar. That morning, command had radioed in. Taliban movement expected nearby. Keep your eyes open. No friendlies scheduled. Shoot if you have to. 2 hours later, the kid appeared. He couldn't have been more than 9 or 10. Thin, barefoot. His shirt clung to his ribs like old paper. But what froze me, what locked my knees in place, was the blue backpack. Bright, brand new, too clean for this place. Last week, a kid with a backpack walked into a Marine checkpoint near Helmand. He waved, smiled, then exploded. We knew the footage. We saw the aftermath. It played on a loop in our heads every time we saw a child now. I raised my rifle. The boy kept walking. 15 yards out, 10. He didn't run, didn't flinch. He just walked like he didn't know this was the kind of place where kids didn't survive long. "Jason," Torres said beside me, voice tight. "Orders?" I couldn't breathe. The boy stopped, right in front of us. He looked up. His eyes were calm, not scared, not empty, just waiting. Then he did something I'll never forget. He unzipped the backpack. I screamed, "Drop it! Now!" My finger hovered over the trigger. Then I saw what was inside. Not wires, not bricks of explosive, not even food. Books, torn school books, a pencil, a crushed plastic bottle, a toy car made from bottle caps and string. No bomb, no threat, just a kid. He held up the toy car like it was the most important thing in the world. For 5 seconds, no one moved. Not Torres, not the gunners in the towers, not the wind. Then I lowered my rifle, and I started shaking. Because for a moment, just 1 second, I had been ready to kill a child. And no matter how many rules of engagement they write, no matter how many briefings they give, nothing prepares you for that. I walked toward him, slowly, my vest heavy, my knees weak. I knelt down and asked, in broken Pashto, "Where's your family?" He pointed down the road. I gave him water, a protein bar. He said thank you, softly, and left. I watched him walk away. That was July 2009. I didn't think I'd ever see him again. But then, in December 2019, a full decade later, a package showed up at my apartment in Boise. Inside was a photo. A young man in a school uniform, standing in front of a blackboard, smiling. Behind him, on a shelf, sat a toy car made from bottle caps. There was also a note, written in near-perfect English. "You didn't shoot. Thank you. I never forgot." And neither did I. The handwriting on the note was smooth, practiced. Each word spaced like someone who had studied English for a long time, but never quite felt confident enough to speak it aloud. "You didn't shoot. Thank you. I never forgot." No signature, no address, just the photo, the note, and one more thing. A plane ticket. Kabul to Boise. Arrival date, 2 weeks from now. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Some cruel joke, maybe. But the more I looked at that photo, the more I saw it. The eyes. Same as the boy from Checkpoint 9. Same shape. Same quiet intensity, like he was still watching the world too closely. I sat with the envelope in my lap for an hour, heart thumping like I was back in the sandbox. Then I made a choice I didn't think I'd ever make again. I emailed the address on the flight reservation. 2 days later, I got a reply. "Yes, it's me. Yes, I remember you. I'm coming because I need to say something, and because I brought something with me. I didn't know what to expect. A thank you? A confrontation? Revenge? Guilt has a way of curdling inside you after years in silence. I'd replayed that day so many times, I wasn't sure which version was real anymore. 2 weeks passed in a blur. On the day of the flight, I stood outside the Boise airport, wearing the same army jacket I swore I'd never touch again. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Then I saw him. He walked out of arrivals like he belonged there. Confident, early 20s, clean-shaven. A small scar ran across his eyebrow. I didn't remember that, but the toy car was still there, dangling from his backpack zipper. He spotted me. Smiled. Sergeant Bricker? His voice was deeper than I expected. American accent. Almost perfect. "You can call me Jason," I said, extending a hand. He shook it. Firm. No hesitation. "My name's Kareem," he said. "You saved me, and I think it's time I told you how." We drove in silence to a diner just off the freeway. Over coffee, he told me everything. How his father had been taken by the Taliban when Kareem was 7. How his mother sent him to the checkpoint that day, hoping the Americans would help. She'd stitched the backpack herself. Hid his school books inside because education was forbidden where they lived. "I didn't even know what a toy was," he said, tapping the bottle cap car. "I made it from what I could find. It was the only thing that made me feel not afraid." He paused. "You didn't shoot. You should have. According to your orders, you had every reason to." I stared at my coffee. "I almost did." "But you didn't," he said. "And because of that, I lived. My mother lived. I got to go to school. I got out. And now I teach kids like me." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded photograph. It was a classroom. Dirt floors, smiling kids, a chalkboard covered in math equations. "They call it the Check 9 school," he said, "because every life there started with one choice you made." I felt something crack open inside me, something I'd buried years ago, something like forgiveness. "I thought I failed," I whispered. "All these years, I thought I was the villain." Kareem looked at me. "To me," he said, "you were the first person who saw me as a boy, not a threat." He reached into his bag once more. "I brought you something." He placed it gently on the table. "My old unit patch from Checkpoint 9. I found it buried near the road," he said. 10 years ago. I didn't know whose it was, but something told me to keep it." I stared at it for a long time. So many ghosts in that patch. But for the first time in years, they didn't feel so heavy. Only real. A week after Kareem's visit, I found myself standing at a small memorial in Boise. It was nothing fancy, just a simple stone marker, engraved with names I barely recognized, soldiers lost, battles fought, sacrifices made. But someone had added something new, a small toy car, made from bottle caps and string, resting carefully at the base. I closed my eyes and remembered that scorching day in Kandahar, how close I'd come to making the worst mistake of my life. I thought about Kareem, about the mother who had risked everything to send her son into a war zone armed only with hope, and about the choices we make, not just in war, but in life. Because sometimes, the difference between saving and destroying comes down to a single second, a single decision. I picked up the toy car, and I smiled. Maybe I wasn't a hero. Maybe I was just a man who finally saw a child. And in that moment, that was enough.